I'm Nina. I had a few things done at one time, all clipped together. Rhinoplasty, upper eyelid, lower eyelid, fat transfer, and FX laser, all in the first shot. And then like 4 months later or so, Dr. Dayan did like a little fix up on my chin, which was always more crooked than it is now. So it was a filler of some kind. I heard of Dr. Dayan through surgical nurses. My business is health and fitness related, and when I finally decided for sure I'm getting it done, a few things done, I asked around. I heard he was great, but I had other names as well too, and so I interviewed 6 doctors, a minimum of 2 rounds apiece. How I decided what I wanted done was I just wanted everything done at one time, as much as possible, because if I'm going to be down and sick and not able to work out, not sick but incapacitated in some way, I wanted to do as much as possible on one time. And also I was so concerned about going under anesthesia. So if you're going to put me under anesthesia, let's do as much as possible. I thought at first it was going to be completely segmented, one little thing at a time, and every couple of years I would come back. But then when I did some research, I was told no, it actually does work better all at one time. So I did it all at one time, everything. I started to schedule my stuff in the spring, summer. You know, weather broke, and I knew that I was going to be off from work in November, December. This would be my time. So I started making phone calls. Kaya was the first person I spoke to here at this office. I made an appointment. She scheduled enough time. I came in. I met with Annie. She was like in the small conference room, and then I met Dr. Dayan. He was different than some of the other doctors that I'd met, because I did meet 6 doctors straight up, and I can rattle off their names if you want. And then he was very comforting. He put me at ease. He described everything that could be done, which was a lot more than I was originally thinking about. He was very confident in his ability to get rid of my big honker nose. I also liked his age. And people will now come back and say, whoa, that was smart. The reason is, you know, when maybe at 68 or 70 I want to have a facelift. He's already worked on my face. I thought that was going to be a really good point. Some of the other doctors I interviewed were a lot older. I'm ready to retire. Nah. What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if I want more work? So that was another reason I chose him. But my #1 main reason for choosing Dr. Dayan, absolutely, bar none, #1 reason, when I was describing how many things I could get at one time, he just stopped me and he said, okay, let's backtrack. I specialize in faces, in particular noses. Everything else you want done is great. There's other doctors that can do that. But I specialize in faces. And that's when it hit me. It was like, oh wow. Every other cosmetic enhancement surgeon, and I refuse to call it plastic surgery, they talk to me about doing all kinds of things. Breast implants, leg lift, knee lift, nose, eyes, cheeks, implants. But he's the only one who said, I specialize in faces. And I went, oh, this is my guy. I was incredibly nervous. You have to understand like my whole total picture. I had never even been in a hospital. I'd never been under anesthesia. And I was just so scared. I mean, I was just freaking out. So it was my 3rd interview with him when he was just very reassuring, very confident. I mean, that was killer. I mean, it was like, you will not need a revision. Nothing will go wrong. Trust me, this is a simple procedure. I know your nose is huge, but really, it's not that big a deal. I'm going to do this and do this and do this, and it's going to be fine. So he just calmed me down. And then I got all the information from the office, what to do, how to prep, and what I focused on was being ready. Absolutely ready, doing everything that was required, everything I was supposed to do, getting my house in order, my personal stuff in order. So I was okay once I delved into the details and actually getting ready. But he was very, very confident, and that calmed me that, okay, I won't need a revision. I hear about him. I've never seen him, but I hear that things go terribly wrong, that things could be awful. And that was my other little issue. I know my nose was a honker, but I'd already lived with it for like 55 years. So what the heck? If it came out awful, I would have been devastated because as unhappy as I was with my old nose, it could be worse. And I was just so nervous about that. But once I focused on getting ready, I was okay. And then they just talk you through it and you get ready. And that morning I was nervous, but the anesthesiologist was great. And that's it. That's all I remember was count backwards to 10. I'm not sure I got to 10 and it was over. Everything they said to do for preparation, I was ready. And then being the type of person I am, my house was completely clean. Everything was sanitized. Everything was ready in terms of food. I'm a little bit alternative in terms of nutrition and lifestyle, so I did a big detox. I had all my juices ready, all my vegan food ready, so I was ready to go. I did have a friend take me home. I just remember I was a little groggy. I was in a cab, I got home, we had everything prepared. We started on the medications. There was antibiotics. I never took the painkillers. I had no pain, so I didn't take the painkillers. I had no bruising. I did understand that a lot of my friends were so curious, they wanted to see what you look like after something this extensive. But I was down for 36 hours. I don't remember anything for the first 36 hours. But ice is your friend, and they tell you in the literature to ice, ice, ice. I did have, a charge nurse. I did have a nurse with me. So we did ice everything to protocol, and I made a deal with myself. I said, I'm so nervous about this. Maybe this is not going to come out right. I'm not going to look at myself. I'm just not going to look. I don't know. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I'm not going to look in the mirror just in case it's hideous. But there's this thing about 36 hours you have to get out of bed and you have to start splashing in the sink and helping the FX laser to do what it was supposed to do. And I'll never forget, I looked in the mirror and the divot on my nose that hung down was gone, and even with the bandage my nose was smaller than it was before. And I said, okay, I guess it's going to be all right. And that was it. I had the surgery on Tuesday at 10 a.m. By Friday, I was getting rid of all my friends. They were just hanging out with me. Okay, y'all need to get out of here. Run the dishwasher, vacuum, and I was actually out on Sunday with a splint on my nose, but I was fine. My family couldn't believe it. They were like, oh my God. They were the only ones who figured it out right away. Clients, casual friends, I had to point it out to them. I literally had to what? No hump. Oh my God. Then everyone's like, oh my God, you look great. Clients that because of my business, I'm big into the rah-rah, new year, new me, which is why I had it done in November, December. In January, wow, this diet thing really works, huh? This exercise stuff really works. You look great. That's all I got was you look great. You look great. I wanted them to notice more, but they didn't. I had to actually point it out. Very few people, actually nobody, very few, no one thought that it was all that dramatic. I was okay if they thought it was more dramatic, but I'm okay that they didn't think it was that dramatic. Basically, you just look younger, you look fresher, maybe it's your confidence is higher, so that's why you're glowing. That's what clients would just say, oh, you're glowing, oh, you're glowing. And they couldn't figure out if I was flashing or glowing, so what difference did it make? So, for me, I was like, it was very subtle. It was very subtle, even though I thought it looked different, not that many people noticed that it was different. I worked mostly with Joni and mostly with Michelle, but I'll take Salika. She's actually worked with me as well once. One of the big differences when I worked with Joni was, the technology has really come along, and I was accustomed to the old style peels, where your face is on fire, and you look like a burn victim, and now things are so subtle and different. So at first I thought, well, okay, is this stuff actually working? But it's just a whole new technology. So you can get your peels done and go out that weekend, you can go out that night, you can go out the next day. So that's kind of a little different of adjustment for me. I'm accustomed to putting aside this whole week to get anything done, where now you just basically come in, leave, and go about your business. I do the FX laser. I'm a huge believer in the FX laser. And for some reason or another, the more you do these things, the easier they get. I've had 3. The first one I was under, I couldn't tell you anything about it. And it was with so many other procedures that I'm not sure which was FX and which was everything else. The second time I did it, again I go for that November, December. I had it done on Monday morning at 10 a.m. I went out Saturday night with eyeliner and lipstick, and I looked like I just got off the beach in Miami. I mean, it was like, whoa, what did you do? Nothing. You know. This last time I had it done on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. and I could have gone out Sunday. I chose not to because I thought I'm going to be down. I guess I should have just put on the lip liner and the eyeliner and go, because there was nothing. It's literally, you just recover that fast. Keep in mind I do a lot of things. I do a lot of hydration and good foods, so maybe that's why I recover, but for the most part they just get easier and easier. I do a little touch up here and there. There's maintenance involved in everything. So whatever Michelle says I need occasionally here and there. We're looking to get, probably another filler down here, down the road in the spring. And, a little bit of maintenance so that, all the work that Dr. Dayan doesn't fall apart. No matter what, you always need maintenance, and I'm okay with that too. In terms of how the whole group works together, the number one thing, whether you want it or not, is that it's going to be subtle. And I do understand that patients, clients come in with outrageous requests, because I think that once you start some of this process, you do want to go a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and they're like, So everybody's on the same page. It is a very subtle difference. It's just something that's worked into your life. It's not totally outstanding and outrageous. Even if you want that, you're not going to get that. And that really is the best way to be. I mean, I know that, yes, we all want to look like Cher, but ultimately it is, you at the best that you can be is where you should be. I tell my girlfriends in their 40s, your 40s are your glory years. Enjoy them. Truly enjoy them. You're probably at the pinnacle of where you're going to be. But after the cosmetic enhancements and all the changes that I made with Dr. Dayan, I now believe your 50s and 60s can be your gravy years. Yeah, you're just older, but you're no less. And the confidence that you have meeting people for the first time, even in work situations, even in social situations. Since the enhancements, I'm more outgoing. I go out by myself. It's something inside of me changed. And it was that I'm more, look at me. Sometimes people would look, because I have a very unique look, and with the big honker nose, it was very Egyptian. People say it was exotic. It's an exotic look. It's an exotic look. Then as you age, it's a haggard look. It's a haggard look. Now it's like, it's the best of both worlds. So yeah, look, because you know what? This is me. I am just at the best I could be. So 60, all right, let's deal with it. No big deal. Because you've got something like this and you're willing to do it and you're going to go through the process, 60s can be fabulous. I'm so glad I did it. I have one tiny regret. Little tiny regret. I could have done it in my 30s. I wouldn't have had that honker nose for all those years. I wouldn't have had every time I got made up or dressed up, wow, I look good but the nose is big. Every time you go to a hairdresser, you want something different. You want the hair pulled back, you want an updo, you want a braid, you want no bangs, you want bangs, you want to go super short like Liza Minnelli. Oh yeah, but that nose is kind of big. Now, it's like, you know what, I wear what I want when I want, I do my hair how I want, and nobody says, well, we got to compensate for your nose. And I'll be honest with you, I have not admitted this to anybody. I would have made a lot more money in my 30s and 40s because I had a great fitness look, but they would always say, watch the angle of the face. Watch how you photograph me because of the nose. I never would have taken the time for myself in my 30s and my 40s. I'm so glad I did now, because I could have made more money, but that's okay. I made enough, and I finally made the decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do something about the nose. The rest of it's gravy. So, I mean, I'm glad I had my eyes and my, fat transfer and the FX laser and the chin. I mean, I'm glad I had it all done. But I could have had the nose done in my 30s and enjoyed it all in my 40s and 50s and 60s. Instead, I'm just getting in now. But that's okay. That's when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. And that's all right with me too. I think in your 40s, yeah, you're still full of gusto, but let me tell you, nothing starts to take you down. When you start seeing those changes, you start seeing the wrinkling, you start seeing, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, it's like, what's going on here? And then you realize you're doing what you can do. This is kind of the end of the line. You either come up with something else and accept something else, or you don't. And I don't get this. You want the latest technology for your phone. You want the latest technology for your car. You want the latest technology for, really? Do you not buy the best winter coat that weighs only 6 ounces to keep you warm in this kind of weather, but you don't want the latest for your face or your body? Really? Do you like go to a restaurant and say, give me something lesser because I don't want the best? I don't understand how you can do that. So I don't understand this idea of like, well, I don't want anybody to know. I want everybody to know. Because you know what? If you can grasp this, and you can work with this, and you can accept this opens up a whole new world. Why would you not want to look good in your 60s and 70s? Why do you want to be looking less than what you can look? I don't get that. Why? Because you're in your third, your third act, as people call it, so that should be your worst act? No, you take everything you learned and everything you are and you move it forward to your best. I don't get this. So seriously, menopause was something that I was like, wow, and there's nothing I can do to stop this. And I can tell you the night I decided to do it. So I had my cosmetic enhancements in 2011. It was January, probably the second or third week on a Saturday night. I would make up and I'd be like, wow, this makeup doesn't look that good. This makeup doesn't look that good. I went to Lyric Opera with a friend, came in at like 11 o'clock at night or 10:30, 10:45, whatever it is. I have a small bathroom like right off my main floor, and I popped in for a quick pit stop, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I went, oh my God, you look old, you look haggard. You've got to stop wearing makeup because it makes you look worse. I did stop wearing makeup. I did very little. That whole spring, summer, I started looking at doctors. Fall, I didn't do too much because, man, I was really not looking that good. I didn't start wearing makeup till February after my enhancements. And I've never looked back. Because it's like, now I can wear it again. So why would you be in your 60s and 70s with no makeup or minimal makeup because the makeup makes you look older? No, you do what you can to make it look better. So why would you not want that? So I don't understand this shame in getting work done. I say there is no shame in being the best you can be. You want to be the best everywhere else, so why not this? So what Dr. Dayan does is not cosmetic, it's not just an enhancement, and it's certainly not plastic surgery. There's nothing plastic about it. It's you better. It's an enhancement. Just like you wear the best clothes. You don't wear clothes that make you look fat. You don't wear colors that make you look sallow. You don't go to a hairdresser and say, cut my hair so I look badly. Really? Why would you not do this? Seriously, find the money. It's the third best money I ever spent. First went to contact lenses, second went to orthotics. Dr. Dayan is number 3 because I didn't meet him sooner.